Good day, everyone. It's a rainy afternoon from the Philippines. I'm deeply grateful for this opportunity to share our journey and experiences in working with communities across the Philippines, especially in advancing our advocacy to combat OSAEC. Today, I'll be sharing how PCMN bridging the gap between local and national accountability and how we can all play a role in ending OSAIC together. Next slide, please. It's disheartening to share that the Philippines has long been referred to as global epicenter of child sexual exploitation materials. As presented a while ago by IJM, the staggering statistics has compelled the Philippine government to take a decisive action. Like in July 2022, Republic Act 930, also known as Anti-OSAEC and Anti-SASAM Act. With the enactment of this law, enforcement agencies have gained stronger legal tools to prosecute and penalize perpetrators, while government institutions have been empowered to support the rescue, the rehabilitation, and the reintegration of child survivors. However, next slide, please. I've skipped some of the slides. Okay. However, despite the passage of this law, we continue to witness an alarming rise in OSAIC cases in the Philippines. As reflected in our recent news, many news reports reported in the Philippines, especially OSAIC is particularly a insidious crime because it often takes place in the secrecy of home, with perpetrators frequently being family members. That's a side story, from the Philippines, or close relatives of the victims. But this makes detection and reporting extremely difficult, as the very people who should protect children are the ones violating their trust. Next slide, please. Complementing the government's effort to eliminate OSAEC, PCMN implements a range of strategies aiming at creating a safer communities for Filipino children. So, next slide, please. PCMN works closely with local government units through formal partnership by signing an agreement. Through a formal partnership by signing an agreement and engaging directly to the communities, recognizing that OSAIC often takes place within home. We believe that prevention and protection must begin at the community level. That's why we actively engage local government officials and community leaders in identifying risks, raising awareness, and building local protection systems that safeguard children. Next, please. We also leverage partnership to enhance impact of our advocacy. In our work, we collaborate with churches and other faith-based organizations, as well as both local and international NGOs, drawing their knowledge, experiences, and networks to advance our shared mission of protecting children's rights and welfare. Next, please. Partnering with academic institutions, so including schools and Department of Education, we conducted teachers training to equip educators on how to safeguard the well-being of children under their care. And also by doing so, to integrate child protection and anti-OSAIC initiatives into the curriculum. And also, children are being educated about their rights, equipped with the knowledge and skills to recognize, to prevent, and protect themselves from OSAIC right within the school setting where they spend a significant part of their daily lives. Next, please. We also build the capacity of duty bearers, including local government officials, parents, church leaders, and even the children themselves. We equip them with knowledge and skills needed to detect, prevent, and respond to OSAIC within their communities. Next, please. We empower children and youth by giving them a platform and a voice through the Youth for Safety organization, equipping them to speak up for themselves, actively participate in shaping legislation that affects them, and advocate effectively for the rights and protection of their peers. Next, please. Also, we actively lobbied for key legislation against OSAEC, engages in policy dialogues, and serves as member of various local legislative councils and committees in the local level. PCMN also, next please. PCMN also developed a wide range of IEC materials aimed at raising awareness about the OSAEC. These materials are shared with our member organizations. We use this in our respective networks to educate communities, educate church leaders. We encourage reporting of the child abuse cases, and promote prevention at the community level. But next, please. PCMN's mission and advocacy efforts are not without challenges. So some of these challenges are, number one, some local officials do not view child protection as an urgent concern. Competing priorities such as infrastructure development or economic programs often take precedence, delaying the enactment of implementation of child-focused ordinances and resolutions. Number two, while several national laws on child protection exists, enforcement of the local level is often weak due to the lack of localized ordinances, inadequate policy adaptation, or insufficiently trained personnel. Number three, lack of capacity and awareness among barangay officials, which is lack of adequate training on child rights, relevant laws, and protective mechanisms. This somehow leads to weak enforcement, poor case handling, and in some instances, unintentional violations to children's rights. Number four, the cultural and social norms, which are harmful traditional beliefs that and practices that such as the culture of silence and around sexual abuse, or the misconception that no touch means no harm, but undermining this policy enforcement and grassroots support. And number five, insufficient resource allocation often limit the ability of the local governments to fund child protection programs or sustain structure like the Barangay Council for the Protection of Children. And lastly, the poor community participation, which is the lack of active community involvement or organized child rights advocates at the community level, weakens public demand for stronger protection system and accountability from the local leaders. Yet, despite these seemingly daunting challenges, PCMN continues to with its work, guided by our mission, which is to create safe communities where children can thrive and live life to the fullest. Next slide, please. So, as a global problem like OSAEC demands a global solution. This advocacy for us, which focuses on urging the demand side, those countries abroad, to take concrete actions, particularly by enhancing and strengthening their policies and accountability mechanisms against perpetrators who exploit and abuse children in the Philippines. At PCMN, we remain committed, ready, and willing to collaborate with international organizations in a collective effort to eliminate all forms of online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. And as we work together to end this global atrocity and protect every child's right to safety and dignity. And I think that would be all for my presentation. On behalf of all of us here in PCMN, thank you for your attention.